Hello, my beautiful friends. Shana Tova to all of those of you who are celebrating New Year today. The Celtic New Year is celebrated at Samhain, which is coming up. So I just finished the retreat it was a 7-day experience. I couldn't do it in the 7 days. I had to spread it out, but I started it on Alban Alphid, which was the autumn equinox, and I wanted to finish it by new moon, which was yesterday. And I have to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about moon energy. I'm learning. But what I understand about new moon energy is that it's clearing out the old and then, bringing in something new. And the rune that I pulled for today was Jira, which means year. That's what it translates to. And it's cycles and completion, changes, harvest, reaping rewards, reap what you sow, good or bad. The good or bad reward that you deserve, coming into something better, new beginning, fertile season, prosperity and success. Act with wisdom, store energy for winter of life, completion of a cycle or a project, all 4 seasons, don't expect fast results, trust time, you can't make a river run faster, and there's no inversion to it. And I thought, what a great reminder from Spirit, So one of the things in the last chapter, which was a summary of all the other chapters, one of the activities that you could do was to contemplate, how you're going to do a pilgrimage of the heart throughout the year, because it's really not just a once and done thing. It's something that you want to perpetuate and do. And I thought that was really, really interesting, because I was asking Spirit when I pulled that rune, like, what's next? So I've completed this project. What comes next? And, and as part of the retreat, you do, a bunch of different activities, but it's really to kind of clean your inner house. And while some of it was a little bit more religious than I tend to be, since I'm a little more spiritual, it was really about, who are you, what you believe, who do you rely on, who's on your spiritual team, who's on your worldly team, who's not, and, make your changes and really decide what kind of energy you're going to bring into the world and what energy you're going to allow to impact you in this world. And I thought that was really great. And so there were a bunch of books recommended. I ordered all of them. Not all of them. Some of them look boring. But and you can get this for free. And I posted a link previously because this is in the public domain. But it's the Carmina Gadelica, which is Latin. But it's the Latin for Gallic. I think it's charms is the actual translation. But it's this man, Alexander Carmichael, grew up in one of the western islands of Scotland, and what he and this was in the 1800s, and the Gallic tradition, a lot of those, the islands in the Hebrides, they were Gallic speaking, they didn't speak English, and they weren't allowed, they didn't write down anything, everything was oral, because writing it down, you could get in a lot of trouble from the church, if you were doing the Gallic or Celtic Christian prayers. So they didn't write them down. And this Alexander Carmichael had the smarts to go around and, late into his 70s and write down in Gallic and then translate it to English the poems, the charms, the incantations of the Gallic people before they got lost. And there are many volumes. I want to say there are 7 volumes altogether, but he really only wrote the first 2. This tome is I don't know if it's all of them, but it's really great. And I haven't started it yet. I started reading the preface, which reads a lot like a textbook. Look at that tiny weeny teeny tiny print. But I just like the story of this guy. It's like, you know what? We're going to lose all this if we don't write it down, so I better write it down. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go. And, of course, because he was bilingual in Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic, and in English, he wrote them in Gaelic and then also translated them to English. So I'm very excited to dig into that. And so that's what's next. Really, it's like focusing on my own spiritual path and, providing light to other paths when I can. But like I said yesterday, you are the custodian of your path, so I need to be the custodian of my path. I'll bring you along for the ride. But also, learning things and enriching my path with traditions that other people use. And I think about Shana Tova, You know, I had one Jewish friend. I talk about her all the time. Growing up, there was only one Jewish girl in our school, and her name was Lisa, and her mother was like great. Her mother like came in to teach us about, you know, the dreidel and all the stuff, and it was great. But it was like the only Jewish girl I knew. And then when I lived in New Jersey before I moved back to Pennsylvania, the area I lived in, I lived right by the Jewish synagogue. So and it was a conservative one. So all of our neighbors were Jewish, and they now, because of technology, they had automatic lights. But if those would fail on a Friday after sundown, they would come to our house because they couldn't do work. So they had to have a Goya to do like flip switches and stuff like that. So, you know, I've learned so much about their traditions, and, you know, I don't agree with all of them, of course, and I don't do any of them, but I think all traditions like that are beautiful, and the prayers are beautiful. My friend Sherry used to tell me different prayers and different sayings. My friend Mo used to tell me different Yiddish sayings because they spoke Yiddish in her home, and you know, it's so interesting to learn the traditions of the different Jewish people that I met. And, you know, similarly, I'd like to know the traditions of my own people. And so I'm hoping to learn that in the Carmina Gadelica. So I am wishing you all the best in light and love. What do you have planned new for the new moon energy? Are you starting something new? Are you planning to learn something or do something? I would love to hear about it in the comments. I'm wishing you all the best in light and love. Be well. Take care.